Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of Video Games Ahoy. My name is Jonathan Radford, and today I'm joined by Daf Gape.
I'm eating crisps.
Daf Weeks.
I have risotto.
And Zach Hamilton.
I'm not having anything.
A hungry boy.
But you just finished streaming.
I have.
Yeah, how was it, Dav? We'll get onto what
God.
you've been doing in a little bit, but has just give us a sentence to describe how it's been.
The best 3 hours I can remember.
Ooh, fun.
Wow, that's it's going to be very exciting.
High praise.
Also, hey to Dav Weeks and Zach. They weren't here last week, but welcome
Hey,
back.
boys.
Nice to have the whole gang back together. Yeah, how's everyone else been? How's you, Dav Weeks? You've actually been away doing some really cool stuff.
I've been rehearsing first week of Panto. Yes, Christmas has not been cancelled, people. There is a Panto somewhere in this country. And that place is Brighton Open Air Theatre.
Tickets are available in the description below.
There we go. Not affiliated with Green Man Gaming, unfortunately.
No, sadly.
5% of every ticket sale for your
But yeah, is it going well?
Yeah, so this is my second time doing Dame. So I have delightful speaky voices and absolutely outrageous pop songs to sing in my horrible falsetto. It's going to be delightful.
It's beautiful falsetto. Let's just leave it there. How about you, Zach? Zach, all good?
All good, man. Just been busy with work and stuff. I started a new job this week.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all good, you know. Just nice to have something sort of normal going on.
If you're not watching this and Zach is working in space,
I
that's
am
exactly where he is.
currently working in space. More oxygen than I thought. So it's going well.
That's pretty good.
It's good. No helmet. No need for a helmet.
No need lovely. And we'll come on to Dav Gape in a little bit because he's got something very cool to talk about. You can probably guess what it is already. Let's talk about the podcast really quickly, though. We are supported by some amazing people over on Patreon, our patrons. So thank you again. We really appreciate everything you do for us. And if you would like to contribute, then head on over. We've got some cool stuff over there. It's I say it all the time, but I'd say a Hall of Fame episode needs to be coming soon, guys. Maybe not this week, maybe next week. So start getting your thinking hats on. And if you do want to check that out, then that's going for £1. £1 a month. You get to listen to our Hall of Fame episodes. We got 3 so far, and some really cool. So I think we had some really cool inductees. So
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Really
And the great thing about Patreon is if you pay £1 for that month, you can watch all the episodes that have already happened.
Yep.
So you can pay £1 and get all the episodes already.
Yep.
All the other bonus content. And you can smash it all out.
Yeah.
And then forget about your subscription so we keep getting that £1.
That's what they get you. That's what they get you. But yeah, going over to our Patreon page, we'd really check that out, which is we have Video Games Ahoy. And as well as Patreon, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. And if you want to see our faces, then check us out on YouTube because we're on there as well. All of these episodes every week get put onto YouTube. So we are really happy about that. I've been doing a lot of twitching recently. Daf Gape is going to be by the time this comes out, will have done quite a lot of Twitch about a very specific subject. But again, we will hold off until we get to that glorious moment.
You're killing me, Johnny. I've got to hear about it.
We're also proud to say that we're affiliated with Green Man Gaming. So if you do have any gaming needs, then head on over for some delicious deals via the link in the description below. Dav, this is the moment. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. How was your Xbox? How's your brand spanking new Xbox been? Because it was released on Tuesday. How has your experience been, Dav?
It's been wonderful.
Yep.
Every now and then a little technical hitch, but that's going to happen.
It's expected, yeah.
New console. Although if it doesn't happen with the PS5, then they win. They win the entire console generation. But no, it's been great. Transferring all the games over. My only massive complaint has been my internet. Having to download 28 gigabyte upgrades for all the games. They've got the Xbox Series X version.
Wow.
God, that's huge.
Luckily, I was clever.
Gigs.
Yeah, luckily I was clever and downloaded all the games that I wanted on my Series X onto my One S. Put all them onto the external hard drive, so that moved them over, which was quick, and then it was just downloading the upgrades for some of them. Yeah, it's silky smooth, so quick. The quick resume that is legit.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't really care about it when everyone was talking about it, and just going between games and it just working and it taking like 6 seconds. It's insane. Like, I was streaming yesterday on Tuesday on the launch day, and I streamed Gears Tactics, The Tourist, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And literally, I booted them all up before the stream started, and I thought, right, okay, change game. Just clicked on the other game, didn't even back out the other one. Clicked on it, it was there. And like right now, if I was to click on Ori and the Will of the Wisps, even though it was yesterday, and I've restarted my Xbox twice since then, it would go to the exact spot I was at.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
And it even hearing it and going, that's mental, but like just experiencing it is a different level.
Yeah.
It's like when people talk about the PS5 controller, the DualSense,
Yeah.
and how it's got all these amazing technologies in them, and they're saying you unless you hold it, you just don't know. This is less of an a sort of sensual upgrade that sensitive.
Sensual.
Yeah. The controller is like next level, but like this kind of level of convenience and sort of ease of use, and it's really great. And yes, so yesterday I was streaming those, and today I was streaming Yakuza Like a Dragon. It finally came a day late in the post, but I got the steel book. It looks very nice and shiny. It's my first physical game in a while, but that isn't on the 3DS. But my God, what a game! We'll get into it later. But we just streamed the first 3 hours of it, and I'm speechless. I got really emotionally involved in it. I burst out laughing so many times, but none of the silliness and the seriousness felt out of place.
Yeah.
It all was like melded together perfectly. But yeah, I'll talk about more about that later.
So I've actually got a couple of questions about the Xbox in general. So my friend just bought the Series S. His just arrived today, so I'm going to actually speak to him later about how the Series S holds up, and I don't think he's had. So I've got the original PS4, so I haven't actually upgraded. And I've said this previously. For me, the next gen will feel like a huge leap forward because I haven't bought a new console like on that scale since the PS4. The one thing he was saying is that, and I think you've already said, is that it's just so quick. Everything's so smooth. Everything's so quick. I actually read something the other day which blows my mind. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. In the loading screens, there's apparently jokes, but it's loading so quickly that the jokes are being missed because the screens are just coming up, going down, and the game loads. Like, you're missing the jokes that people are putting those screens.
Yeah, and even though that's a 10-year-old game, Yakuza Like a Dragon, it's the same thing. There's like a 4-sentence hint every time the waiting screen comes up. It lasts less than a second, and you're like, well, I guess I'll wait until next time and try and read the next 2 words of it. But it's really weird because a lot of games tutorialize or like show certain things in those loading screens. Now they've got to reinvent the wheel on that.
Yeah.
You know? And think about how like games used to have to create like a FIFA mini game while you're waiting for the match to load up.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need to anymore.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay. What do we do?
The amount of times I've stared at a character model on the Fallout 4 waiting screen, spinning it around, zooming in and out.
I think that's the interesting thing, really, is going back to playing some of all those older games, like especially maybe not even something that old, like Fallout 4, like because there was a lot of loading screens there, and I mean that game in general it's pretty glitchy. Just seeing whether that helps in any way, because I mean I can't imagine how smooth that experience must be. Is it? I imagine it must be, but is it really that noticeable just how smooth everything is? Because isn't Ori? I could be wrong, and I think I read Ori is like 120 frames per second. It can go up to, which
yeah.
I don't think
I don't have an 120 hertz monitor. I've got a 4K 60 hertz.
Yeah,
which is enough for me. I don't need 120. But and it was cheap on Black Friday last year. But Ori looks beautiful.
Yeah,
it looks absolutely stunning. And Gears Tactics looked great, and The Tourist, which is like that kind of voxel style.
Yeah.
But you put that with 4K and HDR, 60 frames a second. Good lord, that looks beautiful, and it's just like voxel, like it's so nice, and just the colors. But I've been playing a bunch of games like Tony Hawk's. Dav, How long are the loading screens on Tony Hawk's?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. Well, how about 4 seconds?
Oh.
Just
switching
in
level to level,
play.
4 seconds in, and like on
Yeah.
competitions, for instance, you know, if you like mess up a heat and you're like, right, I'll restart the competition.
Restart the competition. Yeah.
Just in.
Oh, it's
It's
mad.
crazy. It's just like loading screens, like they're there, but they're not there. It's not a thing.
How do you think that's going to affect like run times of games? I mean, because like, I don't know how much
Speedruns
more...
are going to be so different. Now.
Yeah, speedruns.
Yeah.
I know someone who speedruns Resi 3, the remake, and does it in like 40 minutes or something like that. And he's like
Wow.
third in the world. But he's got to wait for loading screens and stuff, you know? Now he doesn't. Everyone's going to be like, right, I've got to get the speedrun in quick before anyone else.
Yeah.
I read a really funny tweet the other day as well. A couple of guys I follow on Twitter, he actually works for Nintendo Life. He was saying that he was like, "What am I going to do? Like, I usually tweet during loading screens. How my tweeting is just going to plummet to the floor because that's when I tweet." I saw just for today, just specifically for today, I saw another thing which is, and I think you said you were going to get it, but and it'd be nice to see how you feel the game is. Is it Assassin's Creed Valhalla? I think the loading screens for that were 20 seconds on this new generation. And on the old generation, it was something like 1:05. Like, by the time the character was running around the map, it was still just getting to, like, the second phase of the loading screen. And it's it is... I don't think we realize how much it's going to change just small experience things. Okay, well, because sometimes we use those moments to have a glass of water and a break. Now it's just like, no, you haven't got the time. It's just there, you're straight in. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this goes, Dab. I'm really chuffed you managed to get it, and I'm glad it's living up to the hype, man. That's great.
The controller.
How is the controller? Is it comfortable?
So, yeah, it's the shape of it is the same as the Xbox One, which I thought was the best controller of all time. This one's now got much better bumper buttons. That share button's cool. Haven't used it yet, but the D-pad's really satisfying.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And it's got a nice sort of gradient on the back for like bumpy to like. Yeah, this is the best controller ever.
Oh, awesome! Well,
I haven't played with the DualSense.
Yeah, I'm gonna say because I'm actually gonna try. I'm gonna try and get a PS5. I am gonna try on the day that it comes out. I'm gonna try my best to get one. See how that goes. Because I've just been swept away in the hype, and I'm just like, I've spoken to all my family. Right, if I can get one, Christmas present done. I'll be playing it as soon as it comes out. But Christmas present done. But we'll see how that goes. But awesome. Definitely keep telling us how it's going with any new games you play, because I'm really excited to hear how that goes. Right, let's move on. So VGC reports that Amazon has sent out a wave of emails warning customers who pre-ordered the Xbox Series X they might not receive the console before Christmas. This is really interesting because like I actually tried to log on yesterday. I tried to log on yesterday just to see if I could get one from Game, and I was like this close to getting one. So it seems weird to me that Amazon have run out of stock, unless that everyone has bought one from Amazon, which is very likely because it is Amazon. But so there's an email that loads of people have received, which says, "We expect to ship your console in the coming weeks as we receive more inventory in November and December. At this time, we anticipate that you will receive your Xbox Series X by the 12th of December. Oh, sorry, it's the wrong way around. It's flipped. It's in America, the 31st of December or before. We're making every effort to get it to you as soon as possible and apologize for any inconvenience." That does seem crazy. But I am interested to see how the PS5, if that has any issues as well, because if I was to guess, I imagine the PS5 has more demand. I'd assume that the PS5 has more demand.
Yeah, sure, out of the gate, for sure, because there's so many PS4 owners.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's just a shame for anyone that has pre-ordered it. This is from America, to be fair. And for anyone that has pre-ordered it, that let's hope they get it soon.
I know someone who ordered from G2A, who got their order cancelled yesterday morning on the day of release.
That's nonsense.
And got a refund, and they were like, "You don't have a pre-order with us anymore."
Yeah.
And apparently they did that with everyone.
You can't, that's ridiculous.
So it seems like they were never promised any Xboxes, and they still put a thing out anyway. And I think that's what happened with Amazon. I think it sounds like Xbox had a certain number of Xboxes, and they gave out exactly what they said they were going to give out, and the shops just oversold what they could to try and get the money in because of COVID and everything else.
Yeah.
And then they'll worry about delays or refunds later.
But then, and this, I mean, I could be wrong, but like the thing is, even just taking that money in as well for like 2 months, you would accumulate. Some banks you'll be able to accumulate money, so it's just been sitting there to go. I can make some money with all of these people paying for a console they were never going to get. We've made money. They can have their money back. They might not be much, but at the same time, it's like, don't take money from people if you can't fulfill what you're taking the money for. It's like, it just seems crazy. We spoke about this a lot last week and the week before, to be fair, so we don't need to talk about that too much, but that is a shame. I do feel for that person. Let's move on as well to publishing giant Take-Two is set to purchase UK industry veteran Codemasters for $759 million. The deal should be done by the first quarter of 2021. Take-Two boss Strauss Zelnick has said the following about the deal: "We are exceedingly pleased to announce this recommended transaction with the board of Codemasters. Codemasters has a renowned history of creating some of our industry's most beloved of creating some of our industry's most beloved and commercially successful racing franchises, and we believe that their offerings will be highly complementary to our sports portfolio and enhance further our organization's long-term growth." Codemasters do is it Micro Machines they did?
Oh, I'm not sure, but they do lots of racing.
They do loads of racing games. So it's interesting that they've taken them on board. But yeah, I just thought that was quite an interesting thing to see because it was so right. It just came out of nowhere, absolutely out of nowhere. So yeah, Take-Two, they're taking a bit of Codemasters. Moving to a bit of sad news, Sega Sammy announced it's selling off its arcade business. The Tokyo-based game company also announced that it is asking 650 employees to retire voluntarily. With COVID-19 impacting business, Sega is expecting what it calls an extraordinary loss during the current financial year. Sega Sammy Holdings was formed after Sega and Sammy merged in 2004, and according to the company, the global pandemic has significantly affected business, which is why the company is selling its arcade business. This is really worrying. 650 full-time employees are being told to voluntarily retire at Sega.
That's pretty painful.
It's a pretty weird way of firing someone.
Yeah, and I think the crazy thing as well is we know previously the financial issues that Sega's had, the fact that the Dreamcast bombed and everything, and which is sad because the Dreamcast did a lot of good in a lot of ways. But that is worrying. I mean, Dav, I think you said a couple of weeks ago that Microsoft might want to take a slice of Sega. Well, there's more chances of it happening now.
Possibly.
I think it's interesting as well because Atlas have recently put out saying that they want to start putting more games on more consoles, like Persona on more consoles, and it just seems like you've got the Switch, which we'll get onto in a bit because we've had the sales figures for the Switch, and they are ridiculous, by the way. And it seems crazy that they're not just taking old games and putting them on the Switch for easy money. It's super easy money they could be making, and I don't know. I do worry about Sega if they're already at that stage with the pandemic. But I think one thing we knew was that Japan, in particular, was taking it a lot harder than America. There wasn't the same work at home culture in Japan, and it seems like it really impacted them, which is a real shame. So let's hope that they're not in too much trouble. Anyway, speaking of companies in Japan that are losing money, Square Enix has reported a $62 million loss during the quarter it released Marvel's Avengers, despite the overall company reporting growth for the first half of the fiscal year. Apparently, Marvel's Avengers has sold less than... What is that game called? That was EA... I can't remember what it's called. Anthem. It sold less copies than Anthem, and Anthem was going for like £5 at one point. It looks like the total cost of the game is closer to $170 million, given the only expense basically, that game cost $170 million to $190 million to make, and they're not recouping it back at anywhere near the same rate that they'd like it to be. So Square Enix, again, another company that has, well, I say recently, the last 20 years, had problems with their finances, and again, it's a worry.
Yeah.
That's impacted them, especially considering this year they had Final Fantasy VII. The remake, apparently it sold so well. But
the moral of the story is don't release a game that isn't ready.
Yeah, but we've said this previously. Who is that game for? Like, who's the game? I don't think anyone was really sure of who the game was for. you can tell in the same way. It kind of does. It reminds me in a lot of ways of Anthem and the problems that was having, because when people were playing that, they're just like, "Who is this for?" You know, what were you trying to get from this game? I don't know. But speaking of Anthem, BioWare. I say Anthem, BioWare should be saying. BioWare has announced it's working on a collection of Mass Effect remasters, as well as a brand new entry in the series led by a veteran team. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will be released for consoles and PC in 2021, and the developer confirmed on Saturday the 3-game collection will include all DLC from the original versions. BioWare's studio GM Casey Hudson said, sorry, that was read badly. That was BioWare's studio GM Casey Hudson. That's what they said. So there's a new game coming out, and the trilogy is being remastered. I think I've said on this channel before that the original trilogy is one of my favorite collection of games of all time, so I'll definitely be buying that. I am surprised it's not coming to the Switch, because Mass Effect 3 was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And they don't really have to upgrade anything. I think people on the Switch would buy that if it was just the old trilogy. Maybe the first game improved slightly, but...
And we know EA would be happy to sell that.
Yeah, just not on the Switch, apparently.
Yeah.
It seems crazy.
Okay.
But yeah, I love Mass Effect. I'll definitely get that, because I'd love to replay those games from start to finish. Especially to see what they do with the first game, because I do feel like the first game doesn't hold up anywhere near as well as, especially 2. The less said about 3, the better. Anyway, let's move on to Nintendo.
I never played 3. I only started 2. I didn't really get into it. I loved 1 though. Back in the day.
1 is it is good. I just think I remember when I completed 1 just before I started playing 2.
Right. So the jump was
the jump was quite significant. So I remember playing and going, "Ooh, 2 feet." It just felt better to play. It felt. I mean, for me, 2 is one of the greatest games of all time. Oh, it's such a good game. I remember when that game came out, I just played it for about 4 days straight, and I was like, this is amazing. We'll talk about Nintendo now. Nintendo Switch has reached a grand total of 68 million hardware sales, officially overtaking the NES to become Nintendo's second best-selling home console of all time. We've said this previously, but previously it's probably overtaking the NES. Now it's officially overtaking the NES. The figures come from Nintendo's latest financial earnings report, which reveal that the console has shifted 12 million units in the 6 months between April and September 2020. That is slightly unbelievable. April to September is not the period of time when Nintendo or any company really makes their money or sells consoles, because it's all about the end of year. It's all about Christmas. You know, you can sell 12 million in 3 months from October to December. So I think the expectations for Nintendo now is that for this year, from April to next April, they're going to sell 25 million units upwards, which is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah. So with the sales, it brings them to within 30 million of the Wii. I think it's going to overtake the Wii at this point. I just think the trajectory it's going on, I'm fairly convinced it's going to overtake the Wii. With regards to software sales, and overall Nintendo Switch, it's actually sold more than the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube combined, and it's sold more sold more than the Nintendo 64 and GameCube consoles combined, and the Wii U, which is slightly unbelievable. It's absolutely incredible how well the Switch has done, especially compared to what the Wii U did.
Oh yeah,
we are
what did the Wii U sell, like 4 million?
The Wii U sold 13.56 million and 103 million worth of sales, but it was still out for about 5 years.
It was out for 4 years, yeah. Well, the Switch just sold pretty much what the Wii U sold in its lifetime in 6 months.
Yeah, there we are. That tells you everything you need to know, really. And it sold almost 5 times as much software in the same amount of time that the Wii U was really put out, you know? So yeah, Nintendo absolutely smashing it. They also released the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games as of the 30th of September 2020. Animal Crossing didn't overtake Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's getting closer. So bear in mind, Animal Crossing came out in March. It sold 26 million copies. It's been out since March. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has sold 29 million copies, and it's been out since 2017. It is unbelievable how well Animal Crossing has done. It's guaranteed at this point to overtake Mario Kart 8. It's just a matter of time of when. I think Animal Crossing as well has sold more. Animal Crossing has sold more copies of that game than any any PlayStation exclusive, which is, again, unbelievable. But yeah, guys, that is it with the news. Not really that much to talk about today. Should we hear what you guys have been playing? Anyone want to go first?
All right. I'll go first.
You go.
So after I bought, I played the demo of Pikmin 3.
Oh, yeah.
My lovely wife bought it for me.
Lovely.
For
Nice.
our anniversary, and I've already completed it.
Wow.
What?
So yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness,
it's not a
man.
long
That's
game.
funny.
It's not a long game at all.
Yeah, it's about 15 hours.
Yeah, it's not long. It's
That's-
but I can't wait to go start it again, and this time do it better.
Nice.
So I did it in 21 in-game days,
Right.
and
3 weeks.
just want to see if I can get it in less than 20 in-game
Do you
days
know
now.
if it can be?
I have no idea, not a clue,
Worth a shot.
but
How-
I
how-
look forward
how
to
was
finding
it?
out.
How? Because I know you can only play a certain amount with the original, or the demo. Sorry. How was the experience? Is it better than you? Because did you play it on you didn't play it on the Wii U, but you played 1 and 2, right? I think we spoke
No, I only played Pikmin 1
Right.
on the GameCube, which I loved, but I
Yeah.
didn't finish that.
Mm.
And one of the reasons is because I think it was a little bit clunky.
Hmm.
It's this thing, it's a completely unique game. I can't think of any other game that has any similar comparable mechanic. It's pretty hard to even decide what genre it falls under,
like
you know?
real-time strategy, like Age of Empires or something.
Real-time strategy, but it's also a puzzle game, and
It's right up
like
your
a little
street, isn't
adventure.
it?
Oh,
It's right up your
Oh,
street.
yeah.
Just saying that, it's like
I fucking love pure originality and novelty.
Yeah.
All right, and that's exactly what Pikmin has.
yeah.
And I loved it. So there's 5 different breeds of Pikmin in it. You have 3 different characters who you can split off. So you can have like 3 little regiments and switch between them, which is something I still haven't quite got into, the whole multitasking between. That's where save time would get me.
I just looked
you
it
know?
up, and technically it can be done apparently in 10 days.
Daft challenge.
Isn't that crazy?
10 in-game days.
There we are. That is a challenge.
Okay.
Oof.
So I need
Technically
to
it can be
go
done,
at 200%
but
efficiency.
Damn.
That is madness.
I mean, I can see where like time can be saved, and it is a lot of it is just like you've got 3 playable characters. Some of them can just be standing there doing nothing, and then I've completely forgotten that I've just left them doing nothing, and here I am watching about 50 Pikmin knock down a wall. I'm like, where's the other person? Why haven't I not given them the other 50 Pikmin to do something else? You know, that's where it comes. You know, and you know what? I can't wait to have a go at it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and it now goes onto my very short list of games I've actually completed.
That's great, man. I again, because I know you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and like, because I still haven't bought it. It is one that I'm going to play eventually, but there's so many things I've been playing recently that like I knew it would get pushed to the back of the queue, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother because I don't want to have it at the back there. I want to be able to buy it and then play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, would you would it make you go back? Would it make you go back and want to play like 1 and 2?
If they're around and they're cheap, yeah. But I'll be honest, they're very similar games. They're very similar. And I think that's kind of the thing with like completely like original mechanics in a game.
Yeah.
You've already done the big step of creating these mechanics. It's quite hard to then innovate on something you've kind of come up with from scratch.
Yeah, it's so I was reading a lot about Pikmin actually and what they've added in, because they added quite a new mission set with Olimar, haven't they? Because that's not part of the main game, is it? It's just like a little section on the side. It's so weird because Nintendo have put so much effort into actually making Pikmin 3 better, but they've actually not pushed it as much when it comes to advertising. It's so bizarre. Like there were so many other games that they were pushing more than Pikmin 3. In fact, I remember, I think I said it last week, on the day that Pikmin 3 actually came out, they released a Nintendo Direct. On the exact time that like reviews and stuff would drop for Pikmin 3. Sorry, I think that's what it was. I think on the exact time that reviews had dropped for Pikmin 3, they released a Nintendo Direct which had like No More Heroes, which had the updates of the new Breath of the Wild Hyrule Warriors game, and loads of other things as well. So it just seems crazy that they went into all of that work to create what is a really lovely game, but just haven't pushed it. I think that's a shame, because from what you're saying, it's definitely making me want to play it, because it's co-op as well. Like that's Is it online co-op?
I don't know about that.
It's definitely
I can't attest to that. It's definitely local play. Yeah, that's something I'm going to convince Hoy to do. We must find Pikmin. I recommend it to anyone. Maybe don't, like, if you're hoping for a big epic game for 50 quid, you ain't getting that.
Yeah,
it's short and sweet, very sweet. But maybe get it from CEX or something.
Yeah, it's dude, because I think, again, I said this last week, it's a shame that with No More Heroes as another example, they've released 1 and 2, and it's a shame they didn't bring Pikmin 1 and 2 up, because I imagine some people might want to pick those up.
Yeah, absolutely. But, they're all good games in their own right, Yeah,
I'm glad you enjoyed it though. I'm really happy that you've enjoyed it. That sounds great. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any games you've been playing, or you're all good?
Not on my end.
Awesome. Zach Dev.
I was just gonna jump in and talk about. You guys ever played something called Little King's Story?
No.
Is that the Final Fantasy thing?
No, it's not. No. But I was going to say, because you were saying it's like Pikmin is its own, like new thing, but someone in like 2007 or whatever was like, Pikmin, I could do that. And they made like a game that's just like it. And yeah, if anyone's out there who's played all the Pikmin games but wants more of it, it's a good example. It's very cute in the same way. The one thing that I do think it has over Pikmin is that you don't have as many like followers. It's like other people rather than you don't have as many of them, and they all have names. So when they die,
oh no,
sad, Like,
no. I
played Pikmin, I'd just be like, whatever, it's Pikmin, I don't care. But like when like someone who has a real name dies, it's like you have to go back to the town and
Ted!
Like it's just really sad. So it's a good show. I quite enjoyed that game.
Just for the
Is that what you've been playing this week, Zach?
Say again?
Is that what you've been playing this week?
Not at all. Not even at all. It's only because we were talking about Pikmin. No, I jumped into Hollow Knight on the stream on Sunday, which was really fun. Obviously, I played it.
How did that go?
It was good. Yeah, I needed a break from The Last of Us run because it was getting to me, man. I was doing too much of the first hour of the game. It was driving me nuts. So I took a little break, and we had like. It was really. Do you know what? It was just really nice to just be streaming and just be enjoying a nice game. If I keep going with that game, it'll become less nice because it's a very difficult game. But at the beginning, it's very nice and just like very chilled.
Shout out to Elvishai in the chat.
Oh dang!
Who was trying to give you good directions.
Yeah, but mostly keeping us on track, because I basically there was a boss I wanted to reach before the end of the stream, and so I was like frantically running around and like going in circles and like just being slow. But yeah, shout out to Elvishai, who was pointing me in the right direction for the most part. Yeah, you know what? It's. I've already talked about it a little bit. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast.
I think you've mentioned it a couple of times. You might have spoken about it in depth.
It's a great game. Everyone should play it. It's not very expensive. It's free on PlayStation right now.
I just downloaded it today, actually.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, do you know what? Just give it an hour, and if you don't like it after an hour, then don't play anymore. But I'm sure you will.
It's classic Metroidvania, really, isn't it?
It's classic Metroidvania, and it's like all the sounds are great. It's really responsive. The controls are just like. It's amazing to me that like AAA games, I appreciate that it's a different thing, but a lot of AAA games can have controls that don't feel good. Like moving around just doesn't feel good, or like hitting an enemy doesn't feel good. And then this little company, Team Cherry, can just be like, everything feels amazing. Like every single movement that you do is just like a little hit of serotonin, and it's real nice.
I guess it kind of tells you where their focus has to be, really, doesn't it? Because like
that's the thing, right?
Yeah, which is great.
There's no the trouble is, of course, there's no expectation for a company like that to be given cutting edge graphics, but
Yeah.
like you take like some massive company who has to make every car look shiny and beautiful. It's like, yeah, fair enough. The resources are not going where they necessarily should be. But then, it's one of the nice things about the current games market, that there is, stuff where a lot of money's being poured into that, and there's also smaller developers who are able to just focus on just making great games and
being
try
creative
different stuff out. Be
and there's
creative,
no cars,
exactly.
but there is a train, isn't there, in Hollow Knight?
There is a train. It's not a train. I kept thinking there was like the fast travel. I kept thinking was like a train. It's not a train. It's like a stag. It's like a stag beetle. And I kept being like, "Where's the train?" And everyone in the chat was like, "There's no train. What's wrong with you?"
I love
it was really cracking me.
Oh, bless.
That's really funny.
Yeah, come hang out in the stream. I've been really enjoying. That was a really nice one, and I think we'll have another one of those this week. In fact, I might start doing two. I might start doing the Friday and Sunday.
Oh, nice, man.
So that we can do, more stuff.
That's
how we
great.
go.
That's great. Awesome. Yeah, great. Well, amazing. Check out Zach if he's going to do some more Hollow Knight. Awesome. Dav, anything else you want to talk about?
Me?
Yes.
More Yakuza. I could talk about that all day. Good God. So, played the first 3 hours on stream. Had a lovely time. And, like, people in the chat were just, like, so engrossed with the story. Like, and it's hard not to be. Like, it gets really emotional, and it's quite a soap opera, but it still feels so grounded at the same time. But speaking of Sega, because they published it, there are Sega arcades in the game. So I managed to sneak in a bit of Virtua Fighter 2,
Nice.
a bit of Virtua Fighter 5,
That's so cool.
and a bit of is it called Harrier? Space Harrier.
I don't know that one.
Where you
Space
play as
Harrier.
a man running away from you with like a massive laser gun that you can also use to fly around the screen.
Yeah.
I didn't get past the first boss. It was a massive dragon. It was very difficult. And I had other things to do because I was busy being a member of the Yakuza. But my God, that like the cutscenes are like Metal Gear Solid length. Like you'll just be like scene after scene after scene.
Yeah.
But they're so interesting and like hilarious, and your character is just this like he just goes off on the slightest thing, and like he's just so dedicated to the head of his family in the Yakuza in his like clan, but at the same time, within the first 20 minutes, someone called me a cum stain, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, and it's like, yeah, you're a shit tier gangster. I was like, no, I'm S tier. He's like, no, shit tier. I was like, oh, damn you. And the combat mechanics, I've seen very little of them so far, but what I've seen is great. And so it starts in the end of the 20th century, which according to Japan is the year 2000 and not 1999. I don't know, maybe that's a cultural thing. But they kept saying the end of the 20th century, and everyone's wearing like 2001 goggles. And it's just like, what's going on? But no, apparently 2000, according to Yakuza, is the end of the 20th century. But, yes, and then, so you start off in like the year 2000, and then something happens, and you end up in 2019.
Oh, okay.
And I've not experienced it yet, but he's just got back to town, back to Kamurocho, and Dav, pull me up on any of my pronunciations, by the way. I've been practicing midstream. His name is wait, let me get it again. Ichiban Kasuga.
Okay.
How's that?
You asked me as if I'm a fluid Japanese speaker. I'm really
just
not.
love Dav's
I just
face then.
had a moment where I was like, "Geez, has Dav been speaking Japanese this whole time? Like, when is this a thing?"
Dav knows more Japanese than all of us combined.
This is probably true.
I don't know, man. Can't vouch for that.
But one thing, I paused the menu when I was back in 2000, and on the list for the menu, there was like smartphone. I was like, oh, I don't have that yet. Something else, and then Dragon Kart, which is Yakuza Mario Kart.
That's
where
amazing.
you play as the main character, and I'm
That's
so
awesome.
excited to unlock that. And on the back of the box, for instance, there's a picture of Dragon Kart, and he's got some kind of looks like a paintball bazooka. There's some lovely pictures, and there's also a picture of a massive crayfish with his pincers out like that. So there's a lot more bizarrity to come. But one thing I want to say, the one thing that really got me is that you click in the left stick and you go into first person mode. And I didn't really do that at all, except for when I went into shops. When I went to a shop or a restaurant, I went click into first person mode and just like walking around the shop, just looking, and each model has been built and placed on every shelf in every shop. And it's just crazy. The level of detail that's in there is just absolutely crazy. And like you go into one restaurant and they've got a whole list of individual foods with like their own like pictures and stuff. You go into another restaurant, it's completely different. Different bars serve different drinks, and they've got bottles and everything else is all arranged. And you can like make your own cocktails, and if you make the right cocktails, then you get bonuses and stuff. And just like the world feels lived in. And they've got like repeated character models and stuff like that. And there's like silliness, like how can you make a world in which you can do Dragon Kart, a world that feels real? And yet they do it in a way that games like Far Cry can't. Far Cry has a super serious story and then the super playful side to it, but it just feels at odds with each other all the time. Whereas Yakuza, it's like, I mean, this is their 8th game. They've obviously had a while to like put it all together, but like, I'm so impressed, and I cannot wait to 100% this game and then go back through and play Yakuza 0 to 6. Because I'm already hooked after 3 hours.
I've never played a Yakuza game, but I keep reading about them being amazing. And in the exact same way that you've just described it, just being absolutely bonkers, but in the best kind of way. Just a lot of fun, but also with like good stories and stuff. That's what I hear all the time. So for you to say that as well, it's just like it must be. I keep hearing it all the time, so it must be true. I can imagine it must look amazing on the Series X as well.
It does. It looks so good. Like just like seeing the way his collar moves, or like the way his hair moves when the wind in the car goes past him. It's just like, damn, like they went to so much detail and effort. And that's another thing about the Yakuza games is the fact that it's an open world game, but it's more an open city game. But there's so much in the city that it's just as much as if it was an open world game, except you have depth and you get a sense of location, which is so hard to do in a game like this. And I'm just so impressed. So impressed.
Can someone explain to me what the limitation is with repeated character models? Because it's something I'm noticing a lot lately. And it seems as though, I mean, it's got to be possible that any given company could invest in technologies that would allow for like randomly generated NPCs, and yet I don't think I've ever seen it. Like every game forever has always got like, oh, it's that lady again, and I don't.
There is one.
Is there a good reason for it? Like, I mean,
I think the Outer Worlds did it. I think the Outer Worlds might have had randomized.
Did they?
Oh,
NPC
really?
faces and stuff. Yeah, I think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's cool.
I mean, I appreciate, with the level of detail that's going into, face design at the moment. Well, character design. Fair enough. Like, I get that you don't want to be leaving it up to an algorithm to figure out what someone should look like. But I don't know, man. It just seems like kind of one of the things that we could, because we're at this stage, right? Like in console development, where it's like, what do we do now? Because before it was like, well, obviously it's just going to look, better and better. But that seems like something that I would want to deal with like pretty soon.
Yeah, I think, well, to be fair to Yakuza, I only saw the back of one and the front of the other. But they were wearing the same outfit. They were both doing different things on their phone.
It's not a criticism of a specific game. I'm saying all games are doing it, and it just seems strange that it's not something that's more like high priority for game developers.
Yeah. I just don't want to say that Yakuza definitely had repeated character models.
Sure, yeah.
It was like two women in a maid's outfit walking one past each other, one the other. One was on her phone texting, one was on her phone, like that. And I was like, yeah, I can see that's probably the same series of animations for that one outfit. But
maybe this generation is the generation that like really starts working on that, because they'll have the power and the space and the capacity to implement that, because it must be a space,
and they can draw more assets at once. Yeah, so there's less of a chance of a double.
And that's a good point. And maybe they'll be able to reference, or if there's that character's here, then we can't have these it's got to be like, you know what I mean? It's got to be maybe they can stop blocking. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but no, it's interesting. I'm really excited to see what the next like 7 years, I guess 7 years. We think this generation is going to go. Awesome. Dav, anything else you want to say about Yakuza?
No. Are there any character models repeated in the games you've been playing?
Well, I've been playing Majora's Mask, so the entire game is.
So yes.
I play Pikmin. They're all the same. They fit into 5 categories.
So I've been playing 2 games. I'm going to talk about one in more depth, not for long. But I just want to briefly mention Majora's Mask. I'm still playing through that. I'm at Great Bay, the Great Bay section. So I've just beaten the Goron Temple. So the one thing I would say is, I think the temples are okay in Majora's Mask. I think the world and the story and the themes and all the side quests are incredible. I do think the temples are okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I just feel like they're fine. They're just not very memorable for me. They don't feel like that memorable. But then I haven't got to the Zora Temple yet, and I haven't played that one in years. So maybe I'll be like, wow, this one's amazing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Majora's Mask. It is still. It is reminding me of what I was, when I first played it, and how I just thought it's really creepy. It's like I don't think I really understood how creepy it was until I started playing it as an adult.
Yeah.
And there's just so many references, like the music every time you go somewhere, like to collect a mask, it's usually you got to play the what's the song called?
Song of Healing.
The Song of Healing, and like that in itself is like a really sad song, and it's like, you know what, you got to play it for a reason, and it's just, I don't know, it is a beautiful game, but it's also really tragic, and I'm really enjoying it. But that's not the game I want to talk about. The game I want to talk about is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, because Rosie bought that for my birthday, which is I was really happy because I've been wanting to play it for a long time. So I would say story wise, I love that game. Combat is really good. The only thing that's frustrating me at the moment is just the glitching and the frame rate, and like there are so many occasions where like the game will just freeze. It's so frustrating because that game with a bit more love and a bit more like care could have been one of the best games that I've ever played. But as it is, there's just too many moments where like there'll just be I've never noticed slowdown as much in any game than this. It's. I mean, I love Fallout. I'm used to like glitching and frame rates going crazy, but it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how bad it can be sometimes. And I know I'm playing it on a base level PS4, and I know that's not, it's probably better on.
But then don't release it on a base PS4. Exactly.
Do you know? I don't know. It just feels really weird because it's impacting how much I'm actually enjoying the game, and I really love the game. The story is so good, and I love Star Wars, and the music. Okay, the music is incredible. Okay,
and it's original music as well.
And like the thing is, I said to Rosie actually when I was playing it, because she's been watching me play it, because she's not a massive Star Wars fan. She doesn't hate it, but she's like, okay, I can give or take when it comes to Star Wars. I was saying to her, the music it could be in a Star Wars film. It's that good. And it's so well suited. I haven't actually checked into the music. I really should. Whoever did that is amazing. And that for me has been one of the big things. It's just the setting and the story and the music is really, really good. It's really set like a really good expectation for where I expect the story to go, because it feels like a Star Wars game. I feel like I'm a Jedi.
But you're totally right. It's a brilliant game, and for me, I 100%ed it and got all the achievements on it. It's the first game I've got all the achievements on in years. Maybe the only one ever. But it's the best Star Wars story I've ever experienced.
So
now obviously you're early on in.
Yes.
But like,
and I played Knights of the Republic as well. Knights of the Republic is one of my favorite games of all time. And that's not to say that Jedi Fallen Order is not a bad game. I love the story. I think it's brilliant. It's one of the best Star Wars games I've played in a long time, and there's been some pretty good ones. Maybe not so much recently, but there's been good Star Wars games. But I don't know. Do you know what? I think overall the one thing I'll say is sometimes there's no better feeling in any video game than just like pulling out a lightsaber. do you know what I mean? It's like it's such a like childlike thing to say, but just grabbing a lightsaber, pretending to be a Jedi. You know, you're a Jedi, and it's so much fun.
How far are you?
I don't know. I think so. I've just been to Kashyyyk. I've just gone to Kashyyyk the first time because you can go back and forth to places and stuff like that. So I've just done that, and a character popped up, which I was like, oh, hey, I wasn't expecting that person to be in the game, which I won't mention, obviously, because in case anyone's...
Been a year, come on.
But it was really cool. It was really cool to see that character as well. But yeah, I am really loving it, and if I was to, like, rate the game without the glitching and the frame rates, I'd be, like, 90s? Like, low 90s, maybe high 80s, but, like, with the glitching like and the frame rate, I can see why it's been given, like, a low score of, like, low 80s. I say low score as if it's a low score. No, that's a weird thing with like scoring, isn't it, in games? But
so I had it on the 1S, which is obviously a bit beefier than the 1.
Yeah.
So I still had some glitching, but not too much, and a bit of frame rate issues now and then, but it wasn't too bad. But it came out on EA Play and Xbox Series X and S yesterday when the console launched.
Yeah.
So I have it installed. So once I've finished with Yakuza Like a Dragon, it's the only game I'm looking forward to actually replaying and like going like New Game Plus, like going to the hardest difficulty and try and just go through it all again. Because I just love that game so much. I'm so glad you're finally getting the chance to play it.
And one thing I was going to say is you're probably going to have possibly an even better experience. Maybe not, but like the next gen consoles might actually definitely should fix the frame rate issues, like
and the load times
and stuff. Because that is another thing as well. The load times, if you die, it can be like 20 seconds. You're waiting, and
don't die.
It's exactly that. Just don't die. But oh, I'm not good. I'm not good at all.
What difficulty are you playing on?
I wasn't playing on the hardest one. I was playing it on
Jedi Master.
It's not easy. It's not
easy, but it's the right level of challenge.
And when you get the flow of combat, then I'm like, okay, because the problem I have is when it comes to games, I'm so impatient that I'll just start swinging my arms around like crazy, just like going, and then I'll die within 5 seconds. But like, how did I die? I was like, well, yeah, of course you died, you fool.
The first time you fight against an Ogdo Bogdo, which is the massive frog thing, is like so hard and like takes like 20 times. But then eventually you come back to that planet and you're like, wow, suck it, frog.
Yeah.
Like doing 3 at a time, like what?
But yeah, it's a really good game. I would anyone that's a Star Wars fan, I would highly recommend it. It's a really good game. Just be prepared that there's issues. And
jank.
Yeah, jank. That could be a rank the jank game because it's not a bad game, but there is definitely jank in there. Anyway, let's move on to the quiz, guys. I feel like I've got a fun, maybe not a fun one, but a good one. There's some questions here which I'm really excited to ask you.
But it will be good.
Oh, you'll hate me, but you'll respect me.
That's good, because I already have one of those feelings towards you.
I thought, to be fair, there's definitely one with lots of hate. Anyway.
No, I respect you to the second highest degree.
You respect
Dab
me so much
gets my most respect. You get second most. Hi, Zach.
I'm also here.
All right, let's go with question 1. Let's go, Dab.
I don't feel too bad about it. I was putting up my ponytail, and so.
Oh man, your hair is getting pretty long.
I feel like I don't deserve very much respect. I don't have a ponytail by choice. I just stopped going to cut my hair because lockdown.
Yeah, lockdown 2.
Which
We're
one?
Gonna lock down 2 Electric Avenue. All right,
and all the shops will be closed.
Well, not for Daf Weeks.
Hey.
Anyway, should we start? So here we go. This is the first question. Again, 2 of you have to agree before I give you any answers. Okay. So, what town is Rare based in?
Oh shit! I feel like I might know this.
Oh,
I should know this.
I mean, I could be totally wrong.
Are you guys both?
I've got a guess.
Are you all able to enter them onto your screens?
I am
You're all
entering.
good. Amazing, awesome. You guys got an answer?
Mm-hmm.
Ready.
Okay, on the count of 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Leamington Spa.
Ooh, good guess.
What about you, Zach?
I went with Birmingham.
And Daf Weeks?
Milton Keynes.
I feel like that's also a good shout.
It's okay. I don't know how it's pronounced properly, but I think it's Twycross. Either way, that's where it is. It's in Leicester. It's in Leicestershire. Yeah. Okay. Question number 2.
Someone's in Milton Keynes. Someone's in Leamington Spa.
Leamington Spa. Squall
Playground.
Leonhardt is the protagonist of which video game?
Sorry, I spoke over you. Say that again.
Squall Leonhardt is a protagonist of which video game?
Thank you.
Shit, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it will do.
Squall.
Well,
Squall.
I'm not sure how familiar it'll be to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a game that I've heard of but not played.
Yeah. Oh!
Yes.
Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah.
3,
I
2,
haven't got anything.
3, 2, 1. Press your enters.
That's not fair. You did this on purpose.
Daf Weeks.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay, Daf Weeks.
Controversially, my favourite in the franchise.
Final Fantasy VIII.
I'm sorry, Zach.
played
I didn't do it on purpose. It was just one of those things that
Mean.
came to me. I just thought you might know, but it was Final Fantasy VIII. Zach has previously said he hasn't played any of them apart from 13. So that is my bad.
I also found my old copy of 13 and then kind of thought about maybe playing it for a stream
you
because I thought it might be quite funny.
You should play as a stream, especially because if you end up loving it as well, it'd be so funny.
Saz Katzroy is one of my favourite favorite video game characters of all time. He's the black guy with the afro and the little chocobo.
Oh yeah,
chick
yeah.
that hides in his afro.
That's
yeah.
He used to be my avatar on Xbox for years and years and years.
I don't know who my avatar is. Anyway, I think it's Kenny from South Park in the video in character as what's his superhero?
That's right.
Mysterion.
Mysterion.
Yeah, I think that was my avatar for ages. Anyway, let's move on. So, question number 3. Hideki Kamiya of Platinum Games is famous for working on some of the best games of all time. But which game was his first as director?
Oh wow!
Nope.
I might need some answers for this.
Do you want the 4 answers?
Yeah, I want the 4.
So he's directed all of these games, and in some of these games he also was a story creator, I guess. So we got Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry, Okami, and Bayonetta. That's not a bad collection of games. He's directed them all. Okay, do you guys have answers? So again, Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry, Okami, and Bayonetta.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press enter. Okay, Daf Weeks.
Devil May Cry.
Zach.
Okami.
And Daf Gape.
Devil May Cry?
Who's Resident Evil 2?
Really?
No!
Yeah, he directed Resident Evil 2.
Dang.
It was his first game he directed as well, which is absolutely bonkers. I mean, that was the question, but still. All right, here we go. Question number 4. According to How Long to Beat, how many hours would it take a player to 100% complete Diddy Kong Racing?
Shit.
I'll give this to the person with the closest answer. Okay, you guys ready?
Oh, I don't remember how long that game is.
Okay, here we go.
Ready.
3, 2, 1. Oh. Dav Weeks, what you go with?
10. It's a racing game. Can't be that one.
Dav Gape?
16 hours. It's an open world game.
Zach Hamilton, I came to you last for a reason. Can you tell us what yours was?
22 hours, because I'm pretty sure that game goes on.
It is exactly 22 hours.
Bah, fuck yes!
Nice.
Exactly 22 hours.
That game goes on forever, you guys. I gotta say, I like playing it, but I would never want to 100% complete it.
Yeah, 22
That
Those
hours.
put
are
me
the
in a
games
bad-
where you just do the whole thing again but harder, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I played it in the video game National Video Game Museum in Sheffield, and that game does not hold up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Is it not?
Can imagine.
What about the DS? Didn't they do a DS remake?
I think
Maybe
they did.
maybe that's better.
Maybe I might try and buy the DS remix. See if that's any good.
I think they did some nice sprites and stuff. It seemed like it might be kind of
We
cute.
should see if it's got online multiplayer, Jonny.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, question number 5. When was the last game released on the Sega Dreamcast? Bonus point for the game. Okay, what year was the last Sega Dreamcast game released? And you'll get a bonus point if you get the game. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
A little thing about Diddy Kong Racing is that the cars are fully rendered, but the wheels are sprites.
That's so weird. I always find it weird that,
How did they do that?
Mario Kart 64, they're not. They're sprites.
They're all sprites. Yeah, it's weird.
It's crazy. It's so weird. All right then, you guys have answers?
No. Oh, I don't know. Okay, and guess a game. He's gonna guess this one. Okay, ready?
You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Daf Weeks, what you got?
2009 FIFA.
Surely not 2009.
Zach Hamilton.
I said 2003 with Madden 2004.
And Daf Gape.
I said 2006 with Shenmue 2.
One of you is close, but none of you actually got it. The answer, I don't know what this game is. Karous? 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 2007.
Oh.
Damn.
2007.
What's the game called?
Karous. 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 It's like, I don't know how to explain it. You just look it up, you'll see what it's like straight away. Yeah, it's
I'm fascinated.
the last game on the Sega Dreamcast, 2007.
Wow, I'm amazed.
Yeah,
because that console did badly.
Yeah, it died in like 2002.
Yeah,
it wasn't around for long. All right, question number 6. Which Ubisoft game with a score of 94 is the highest rated by reviewers on Metacritic? These are in alphabetical order. Okay, Assassin's Creed 2, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, Rayman Origins, or Splinter Cell Chaos Theory? Assassin's Creed 2. Which one is...
We're saying which one is the highest score?
What was the highest rated Ubisoft game of all time? Assassin's Creed 2, Prince of Persia, Rayman Origins, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. And so Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
I want it to be Assassin's Creed 2 because I love that game. And it'll be like second, but I don't think it's number 1.
I think it's going to be third.
Yeah, it could be, couldn't it?
Right, do you guys have answers?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. You go. 3, 2, 1. Daf Weeks. What you got?
Assassin's Creed 2.
Zach, what did you go with?
I went with Prince of Persia because I feel like everyone loves that game. I've never played it.
Daf Gape?
I also went Prince of Persia.
So, you're all wrong. Okay.
Rayman won it.
And also, those weren't even the top 4. I'm going to read up the top 4, and then I'll go back to those. So
Ubisoft's got some weird games.
The reason why it's not the top 4 is because one game series is 3, 2, and 1, and I'm not sure you're going to get it.
A Ubisoft game?
Yeah. So in 4th place is Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, is the 4th best rated Ubisoft game of all time. In 3rd place is Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell with 93. Really? In 2nd place is Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, and in 1st place is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Assassin's Creed Rayman had lower scores than all of them. Assassin's Creed had 91 and Rayman Origins had 92. But a lower score of 92, which is... How crazy is that? Top 3 Splinter Cell, and they're not making a new game. Ubisoft, get on it. I mean, it's the top 3 best games of all time.
They're making one. It's just probably not very good, so they haven't announced it yet.
Have you seen the reviews for their Watch Dogs?
No.
It's been very average, which is kind of what we thought from the start.
That's what we thought.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to question 7. This is a new game, okay? A new question I'm going to start integrating because I think it's quite funny. So name that badly described game. So I'm going to badly describe a game.
I like that idea.
And every week I'll give you a badly described game. And you've got to try and guess what it is. Okay, so this is the badly described game. Cute, lovable mascots brutalize one another for no discernible reason for the very first time.
Got it.
Cute, lovable mascots brutalize one another for no discernible reason for the very first time.
Is it a description of the title or the game?
The game.
Okay, so it's not like a cryptic.
No. Yeah,
okay.
it's describing the game, a specific game, a very specific game. So
Not
if
a
you
franchise either.
not the franchise, this will always be games because that means we'll always have more to play with. Okay, so you got an answer?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, interesting.
So
They could both be right.
they could both be right. It's not the answer. I was going to say one of you's not got the right answer. Dav Weeks, I'm sorry. The answer is Super Smash Bros. 64. But you are technically right. You are.
Yeah, it was
technically
one
right.
of the two. It was
Cute
one of the
little
two.
mascots.
Smash was my first
If it had been
thought.
cute, lovable monsters, you'd definitely
Yeah.
be right. But I think the
Yeah.
mascots bit was specific to mascots from each game. The answer was Smash Bros. 64, which Dav and Zach both got. But Dav Weeks, that is actually a very... that was a very good shout.
That didn't occur to me, and it would have really pissed me off because I wouldn't have known which one
very,
to go for.
Very good one. Very good one. Okay, question number 8. Which war-themed video game used the vocal talents of 7 of the cast members from the 2001 hit series Band of Brothers as allied soldiers in that game? So, do you want 4 guesses? Do you want the 4 games for this list? Basically, a video game used 7 cast members from Band of Brothers as allied soldiers in their game. But which game was it?
Do we have to get the game, or can we just get the
game? The very specific
the very
game.
specific
Yeah,
game.
very
Okay,
specific
then
game.
I probably want to hear the answers.
Okay, do you want to hear the answers? Anyone else?
Yeah,
No.
go on.
Okay, so we've got Battlefield 1942, Call of Duty 2, Company of Heroes, Medal of Honor Frontline.
My guess was one of those 4.
Okay, so one of these games.
I wouldn't have got the specific game. I don't think. I don't know if I'm right.
Which war-themed video game used the vocal talents of 7 of the cast members from the 2001 hit series Band of Brothers as allied soldiers? You guys got an answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Dav Weeks,
Battlefield.
Zach Hamilton,
I said Medal of Honor Frontline. It seems like the kind of thing they do.
and Dav Gape.
Yeah, me too. Frontline.
So the answer is Call of Duty 2,
Ah.
which is interesting
Dang.
because Steven Spielberg created Band of Brothers and Medal of Honor Frontline, which you'd
Really?
yeah, the link is there, but Call
Yeah.
of Duty 2 saw how big Band of Brothers was, and it was the Call of Duty 2 the big red one, I think it is,
Yeah.
on the consoles, and good game, by the way. The early Call of Duty games were actually really historically accurate, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong, but
No, World War
but I
II
know.
games.
But I remember being in school and like teachers asking me
yeah.
history questions, and I'd be like, "What? Where was this?" And we'll be like, "This one, sir, because I killed loads of Nazis the other day." All right, question number 9. Which year did the very first FIFA game debut? Okay, so I
I know this.
I don't want the title of the game. I want the year that it came out. Okay.
The first FIFA game.
Yes. When did the first FIFA game come out? The year, not the title, because obviously, like 2020 was released in 2019. So it's
Yeah.
so
And
I don't
obviously the first game wouldn't be
the year that
the
it came
year.
out. Yeah,
It would just be FIFA, right?
Just say the year that you think it came out. To be very specific. Don't worry about the title of the game. What year?
What does FIFA stand for?
It's the
Football.
Federation of International Football Association.
yeah. There we go.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know football.
To be fair,
I remember because one of the FIFAs had you can play the original FIFA in this game, and it was like a specific mode. You played the original
there we go.
FIFA because it was like the 20th anniversary or like the 25th. I'm just remembering which anniversary and then which FIFA.
I wouldn't have known this, by the way. I really wouldn't have known it. I wouldn't know the first Pro Evo, and I played that game every year, so wouldn't know.
Okay, let me just start writing. Oh, this is frustrating because I knew this once upon a time. I'm gonna go with this year, 2020.
Amazing.
Right, I'm ready.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, just what the year, not the game. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Dav Weeks, what did you go with?
1997.
Zach Hamilton?
I also went with 97.
Dav Gape?
94, but I think it might be earlier.
So, Dav, I'm so sorry. It's 93.
Ooh.
Oh, so close.
And because I was I was stating so much that it had to be the year that it was released, I can't give you that, but that is a great shout. It was FIFA 94, released in December 93, which makes it even worse. I'm so sorry. All right, we've got 2 questions left. We got 1 question left, and we got tiebreaker. And no one's winning, by the way. No one's winning. You're all on the same points. Okay, question number 10. How many power moons do you need to beat Bowser in Super Mario Odyssey?
Oh,
I can give you the 4 if you want. I can give you the 4 answers.
Nah.
Are you gonna go with the person who's closest, or are you just gonna go with?
No, because the tiebreaker is always going to be the one that's closest.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes I'll do the person that's closest, but for these ones specifically.
Oh, that's my answer. I wasn't actually sure. I was clicking on the thing, but I clicked OK, and I'll stick with it. I think it might be less.
You other guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
60.
Oh wow.
Ooh. Okay, so Daf Gape, what did you go with?
60.
Daf Weeks
70.
and Zach Hamilton.
80.
All wrong, and the person that would have been close would have been Zach Hamilton. The answer is 124.
Yeah,
Really?
Because
the
moons
moons are so like trivial. You just get like
so
a
easy
pound
to
a
get.
penny.
Yeah, exactly. So easy.
It's not like the stars.
Yeah, I think.
Sometimes you get 3 for doing one task.
Yeah, I kind of.
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there's a total of 880 unique moons, and that's not including the moons you can just buy from shops.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
124 is actually
Oh,
not
yeah,
that.
you
It's
can
not that
buy
hard
them.
to get. Yeah, you can buy them. It's not that hard
Clearly,
to get.
it's been a long time since I've played Odyssey. I need to go back and play it again.
I wouldn't have remembered that at all. I wouldn't
I
have
played
remembered
your
that.
copy, Johnny.
Yeah, on the Thomas. All right, this is the tiebreaker question, and remember, this is This is worth 2 points. Okay, how many games released for the NES?
Are you joking?
Nope. How many games released for the NES? The person that gets the closest
Fuck.
to this number pretty much wins. The person that gets closest wins. And all 3 of you are in it. This is this is wonderful. This is how I want my quizzes.
All right, I got an answer.
Okay, you guys got an answer?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Dav Weeks.
Shit. Wow.
400.
Dav Gape.
1008.
And Zach Hamilton.
1700.
I've got to do the calculations of this now.
Oh wow.
It's actually so close. One of you's definitely not got it. But 2 of you are like literally smack bang in the middle.
Oof.
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it might be smack bang in the middle. This is ridiculous.
Well, tell us the number.
The number is 715.
Oh wow. Really? Not. I didn't really.
Dav Gape, I think.
Oh wait. Yes.
Yeah.
715.
Yeah, I'm off by like 297. No, 293.
There we are, 293. Oh yeah. Great, awesome. Oh god, that was so close. Dav Gape takes it with 4 points.
Damn.
Dav Weeks, you were on 1, and Zach was on 2. Zach was on 2 points.
Shit.
But there were some tough questions today. I wanted to try and push you guys, but that is it. That is it.
Hey.
Podcast number 30. Dav Gape is our champion for this week.
Yatta!
Thank you very much for thank you very much for listening today. If you enjoyed the show, then please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon, and tell your friends and give us a review or a comment. The guys will all be streaming this week. Make sure that you keep in touch with what Dav Gape is doing, because he's streaming the Xbox Series X, which is amazing. Zach, like you said, is going to be doing some Hollow Knight and maybe some Last of Us 2 as well, if he's feeling up to it yet. But just check in with him as well.
If I can face it.
So, like I said, just keep in touch with us on Twitch. Just check in and out. You might see some streams from previous days, which are getting a lot of views, and probably for good reason. Thanks very much, gents. That is it from us. We are Video Games Ahoy, and we'll see you soon. Ahoy!
My hand is disappearing.